Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name's Bob, I'll be your host. And welcome back to my June storm. I've decided the month of June each year is going to be a themed month, which have several videos that connect along a central theme. This year's theme is the worst things I've seen happen in tabletop role playing games. If I'm telling a story and you recognize yourself in this story, I'm not attacking you. I'm not using anybody's name. I'm not trying to single anybody out. This is all for entertainment. So just enjoy it. If you're a content creator watching this video, then I invite you to tell your own stories about the worst things that you've seen happen in tabletop role playing games for this month. And the stories I'm telling, each one of them are going to get progressively worse. And this is the third one. So it's going to be a little worse than the other two. So let's go ahead and get started. This story takes place about 30 years ago, so I don't remember the details quite clearly, but enough to get the point across. We were playing a Star Wars game, and back then it was West End Games D6 Star Wars. My friend was playing a pirate that was force sensitive. And when we ran this game back then, there was three of us that knew how to run the game. So we would take turns running it, and that way everybody got a chance to play. And so I don't remember if I was running it when this happened or not. But anyway, my friend's pirate character was force sensitive. And in the Star Wars rules for D6, when you commit really evil acts, you get a Darkside point. And once you get Darkside points, at the start of every game session, you roll a six-sided die. If you roll over the number of Darkside points you have, then your character is maintained and you can go about your business. But if you roll under the amount of Darkside points you have, then you've fallen to the dark side. And you have so many game sessions to turn back to the light. And if you can't manage it by then, and when I say turn back to light, I mean lose Darkside points. If you can't manage it, then your character becomes an NPC and you lose your character. Well, we forewent this rule because my friend was accumulating a lot of Darkside points and we didn't want him to lose his character. So it got to the point where at one point he runs into a Jedi who had a trainee and talked to them and renounced his evil ways and was going to try to do good and return to be trained to the Jedi as a Jedi. Back then there was no prequels, so there are no Padawans or what have you. So anyway, my friend started learning the Force and was doing quite well and was actually doing good. But then one day, out of the blue, he kills his Jedi Master and took the other pupil on as his own trainee to train them in the ways of the dark side. So eventually, I believe his pupil got killed, and my another friend of mine was playing a force sensitive character that was looking to become a Jedi, and he ran into my friend's dark side pirate now, and so my friend attacks him and restrains him and says, "You will turn to the dark side." And the other player said, "No, I won't." So he broke a bone in the character's finger and then asked him again, "You will turn to the dark side." Not so much a question as a statement. And again, the player said no. So he broke the next bone in line and just kept going till he breaks all his fingers and the other hand, up the arms, the toes, the legs, and all the while using the force to keep the character awake and conscious so that he could feel all the pain and not pass out until he broke every bone in the character's body. Why the Game Master allowed this to happen, I don't know, but he did. And he didn't kill the other character. He just told him in the end, now I'm going to leave you alive, but I want you to think about what you've done, and leaves him. Well, a few game sessions later, we're playing, and the pirate Darksider got his leg cut off and was in the hospital having it cybernetically reattached. And wouldn't you know it, he runs into the other player's character. And he begins again. Asks him, you will turn to the dark side. To which the other player says, no. So he cut off one of his toes and asked him again, you will turn to the dark side. No. There goes another toe. Until he took all his toes, up the legs, took the fingers and the arms, all the while using the force to keep him awake and being able to feel the pain. Until all that was left of him was just the chunk of the body and his head. And he said, now I'm going to leave you here to think about what you did. Why the Game Master allowed this, I don't know. Eventually they run into each other again. The one character is now a cyborg with cybernetic arms and legs. And he asked him to turn to the dark side, and he tried to fight him on this. Told him no, and so he killed him outright. Well, the Game Master decided, since the player still wanted to play his force-sensitive character looking to become a Jedi, went to this extreme, and he had the character's brain removed and put in a robotic body. And the other player playing the Darksider found out, tracked him down, asked him again, will you turn to the dark side? No. Tried to kill him. They fought. And he winds up putting the character's robotic body in a trash compactor, compacting it down to a small cube, but taking care to make sure that the life support remained to keep his brain alive, and then ejected him into space. After he tells him, I want you to think about what you've done. The player then quit playing role-playing games. And to this day, if you asked him why he doesn't play role-playing games, it's not because this other player tortured him. It's because he's way too cool for such a nerd hobby. Which, given that person, that fits with him. But anyway, I don't think that this should have been allowed. I can't even remember if I ran it or not. I might have, and why I allowed it to happen, I don't know. But it might have been one of the other Game Masters that allowed it to happen. It's been 30 years, so it's a bit fuzzy. Anyway, this kind of behavior in games should not be allowed. It detracts from the game and ruins everybody's fun. And that is a pretty horrible thing I've seen happen in a role-playing game. But don't fret. This character that did this will appear in another story coming up. And what he does is pretty bad. So, I guess let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on something like this. And thank you for joining me for my partially remembered story. And hopefully you'll join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye.